By the time Emily and I hit our third anniversary, our lives had settled into a comfortable groove. We weren't rushing to have kids, savoring the freedom to shape our days as we pleased. Spontaneous weekend escapes, marathon movie nights, and the liberty to follow any whim defined our routine. Emily was a burst of energy. Her zest for life never dimmed. She had a quick tongue, a mischievous streak, and just enough boldness to keep things exciting. Early in our relationship, I'd picked up on a telltale habit. When she tried to stretch the truth, her gaze would slip away, avoiding mine. Her fingers would twitch, as if itching to flee the moment. At first, I found it almost endearing, like I'd been gifted a personal truth detector. That April, Emily started nudging me toward a proper vacation. She claimed her job was sapping her spirit, leaving her drained, and she longed for a real escape. Think sun-warmed beaches, frosty cocktails, a total getaway. I wasn't convinced. My work was relentless, with a massive project swallowing my hours, and I wasn't eager to take a 2-week break. Plus, beaches weren't my thing. I'd rather retreat to a quiet mountain lodge or dive into a vibrant city exploration. One evening over dinner, Emily set her spoon down and said with a breezy tone, "Maybe I'll just head out on my own this time." The image of her sipping drinks at beachfront bars without me didn't sit well, but she flashed a playful smile and added, "I'll go with Claire. Just a girl's getaway, massages, sunrise yoga, nothing crazy. Promise." Claire, her closest friend, was recently single and treating every weekend like a wild college bash. I wasn't thrilled, but Emily's eager look softened me. I trusted her, so I gave a hesitant nod. "All right," I said. "Go enjoy yourself. Just don't end up on some cheesy reality TV show." She chuckled, clinked her glass against mine, and we moved on. At the time, I thought my agreement showed our bond was rock solid. Looking back, it only revealed how easy it is to miss the truth when you trust someone completely. The evening before her trip, I helped her finalize her travel plans and tucked some extra cash into her bag for trinkets or whatever else caught her fancy. Her excitement was infectious, and it warmed me to see her so alive. We were just two people who always had each other's backs, no questions asked. Emily left on a Tuesday morning. I drove her to the airport, planted a quick kiss on her lips, and told her to have a blast. The first few days felt routine. She sent me photos from the shore, brief clips of her toes digging into the sand, and videos of Claire tumbling while trying to surf. Late-night messages buzzed in, "Miss you, Daniel. Wish you were here." I found myself missing her more than I'd anticipated, the house feeling too still without her energy. But by the 5th day, her texts slowed to a trickle. No more videos, no calls. I told myself she was just swept up in the fun, or maybe her phone was out of service. Still, a quiet unease began to coil in my stomach. One evening, around midnight, I sent her a simple "good night, sweetheart" text. It went unread for hours until she replied with, "Night. Wiped out. Love you." It didn't sound like her. Emily's messages were usually sprinkled with emojis or little quips we shared. This one was short, almost mechanical. The next morning, I texted again, no answer. I called at midday, but it went straight to voicemail. I tried to shrug it off, convincing myself I was overanalyzing. Maybe Claire was being a handful, or they were off on some adventure with no signal. But that night, lying awake, I couldn't shake the growing feeling that something was off. 2 days later, she sent a grainy photo of a crowded marketplace with a short caption. "Super hectic. Chat soon." No miss you, no love you. I stared at the screen, a spark of doubt flaring in my chest. That moment should have been a red flag, but I told myself to hold tight. She'd be home soon, and I'd figure out if I was just being paranoid or if something deeper was brewing. Emily returned on a Sunday night. I met her at the airport, waiting by the baggage claim, feeling a blend of relief and a strange, unnamed tension. She looked radiant, sun-kissed, vibrant, almost too vibrant. She flung her arms around me, exclaiming, "I missed you so much, Daniel." I hugged her back, but something felt distant, like holding someone I knew but didn't quite recognize. On the drive home, she rattled on about the trip, the beaches, the cuisine, the late-night bonfires with Claire. It sounded almost too perfect, like a story she'd practiced. When we got home, she dropped her suitcase in the living room with a weary sigh. I need a shower, she said, heading upstairs. I lingered by her bag, hands in my pockets. Hold up, I teased lightly. You didn't come back empty-handed, did you? She gave a quick laugh, too quick, and crouched to dig through her suitcase. As she moved clothes aside, I caught sight of something unfamiliar. A glimpse of vibrant, lacy lingerie nestled among her usual tees and shorts. It wasn't her style, too flashy, too lavish. I stayed silent, watching. Then her hand hesitated over a small black bag tucked deep in the pile. She pulled it out cautiously, as if it might sting, and handed it to me with a forced smile. Got you some local rum, she said. It's supposed to be amazing. I glanced inside and saw a bottle wrapped in a tacky souvenir shirt with a cartoon coconut tree. Thanks, I said, setting it aside. She laughed again, too loudly, then pushed the suitcase away and disappeared into the bathroom. I stood there, gripping the bottle and the garish shirt, wondering for the first time in our marriage what Emily had really been doing when her messages stopped. Over the next few days, I tried to push the unease aside. Emily acted like everything was normal. Too normal, almost. She cooked dinner, laughed at my awful jokes, even suggested a cozy movie night like we used to enjoy. But the more she played the role of the perfect wife, the more I noticed the flaws. Her phone was always close by. She'd changed her lock screen password. Late-night texts would ping, and she'd flip the phone face down quickly. One night, while she was in the shower, I glanced at her phone on the kitchen counter. A notification flashed. A message from someone named Ryan, with a profile picture of a tan guy flashing a cocky smile, shirtless. I didn't know him. When Emily emerged wrapped in a towel, I kept my tone casual. Who's Ryan? Her body tensed for a moment, but she forced a laugh. Oh, just some guy Claire and I met on the trip. He led snorkeling tours. Total nobody. She brushed it off, but something in her tone didn't add up. Nobody texting you at midnight? I asked, keeping my voice light but sharp. She frowned, her tone curt. You're making a mountain out of a molehill, Daniel. She pecked my cheek and slipped into the bedroom. I sat on the couch, staring at the ceiling, the knot in my stomach growing tighter. The next day, while Emily was out grabbing groceries, I found myself scrolling through the resort's social media page. There were photos of tourists, staff messing around, and clips of beach parties. Then I saw it, a video from a late-night event. Emily was there, dancing, laughing, a drink in her hand. Ryan was right beside her, his arms slung over her shoulders, their faces inches apart, like they were moments from a kiss. The realization slammed into me like a fist. This wasn't just a vacation. Emily had been living a different life when I wasn't there. That evening after dinner, she was curled up on the couch, scrolling through her phone, acting oblivious to the way I was watching her. I set my beer down with a thud. We need to talk, I said. She looked up, feigning calm. About what? Ryan, I said, my voice steady. Her smile faltered, but she tried to hold it together. I told you he's just some guy. I cut her off. I saw the video, Emily. On the resort's page. You were all over him. She set her phone down slowly, her face paling. You're blowing this out of proportion, she said, her voice tight. It was just dancing. I leaned forward, my tone cold. You were about to kiss him. Silence stretched between us. I waited for her to come clean, to be honest. Instead, she doubled down. You're paranoid, Daniel. You're turning nothing into something. And there it was, the lie. Her eyes wouldn't meet mine. She wasn't sorry for what she'd done. She was sorry she'd been caught. I stood up. Pack your things. She blinked, caught off guard. What? Pack your things, Emily, I repeated. Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't waver. She tried to talk her way out, words spilling over each other, but I wasn't listening. 15 minutes later, she was shoving clothes into a duffel, wiping tears from her face. Before she left, she paused in the doorway, bag in hand, mascara streaking her cheeks. It was nothing, she whispered. I didn't answer. I just closed the door behind her and turned the lock. The house was unnervingly quiet after she left. I sat there, staring at the shut door, then flicked off the porch light and went to bed. The days that followed were tough. I kept to myself, diving into work, sleep, and more work. Anything to keep my mind occupied. Then Claire called, her voice tentative and heavy. Daniel, I thought you should know. Emily's not doing well. Yeah, I said, my tone flat. Actions have consequences. Claire hesitated, then added. She went to a clinic. She wasn't feeling right. They ran tests. I braced myself, waiting for the rest. She tested positive for an STD, Claire said quickly. She thought you should get checked, just to be safe. The final blow. Even after everything, Emily had left one more scar. I thanked Claire, hung up, and sat there, a heavy anger settling over me. Not sharp, just thick. I got tested the next morning. Clean, thankfully. 2 weeks later, I filed for divorce. No drama, no fights over possessions. Emily didn't even contest it. A mutual friend mentioned she'd moved into a small apartment across town, looking worn, thinner, paler, quieter. The friend said Emily called it a dumb mistake, a brief vacation fling. But mistakes can cost you everything. I learned that when someone burns your world down, it doesn't destroy you forever. Clear the debris, and there's space to rebuild. 6 months after Emily left, the house felt like mine again. I repainted the walls, replaced the old mattress with a new one, fresh sheets, fresh start. I even took a trip, a real one, not some frantic escape. I chose the mountains over beaches, crisp air, endless skies, no one beside me pretending everything was fine. I hiked by day, slept in remote cabins where my phone had no signal. Standing on a ridge, looking out over the valley below, I realized I wasn't angry anymore. I was free. Emily sent a long, rambling email once, full of apologies and wishes we could rewind. I didn't respond. I deleted it after glancing at the first line. A few weeks later, at a friend's barbecue, Claire showed up with her new boyfriend. I pulled him aside quietly and told him the truth about that girl's trip. I wasn't trying to ruin things, but Claire was already planning more getaways. He deserved to know what those trips might involve. He gave a curt nod, his face grim, and that was that. I let it all go after that. No revenge, no late-night venting, just me living a life Emily had thrown away, better than ever. Sometimes I think about how close I came to binding myself to someone like her forever. Kids, mortgages, anniversaries waiting like pitfalls. I'm grateful she revealed her true self before any of that. It's easier to bury memories than to bury yourself. I sleep better now, knowing that the next time I fall in love, it'll be with someone who can look me in the eye when they speak.